Hi, my name is Holly. I have a mental health disorder. I have depression, anxiety, PTSD, and um, stress disorder on top of the PTSD. Here is my mental health story. In my senior year of high school, I became depressed. I wanted to quit school. I stayed in bed and I slept. I just wanted to be alone. After the day I left school, I told my mom that I quit, so she put matters into her own hands. She put me into counseling. Um, there I learned how to deal with my depression. I went back to school and I graduated. I went to college and then I went to work. Uh, let's fast forward to July of last year. I was leaving my trailer to go back to my home to go to work. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary days before, other than that I was feeling a little stressed and depressed once again. We didn't make it very far and I started to have seizures, one after the other. My boyfriend took me straight to the hospital where I continued to have them. The hospital there didn't know what else to do with me, so they sent me to Grand Falls, Windsor, where when I arrived I was non-responsive. Alive, but barely. They were going to put a tube down to help me breathe, but I gagged, so it wasn't needed, but a feeding tube was needed. There I still continued to have seizures, so they put me into the ICU. I was there for a few days, and the doctors and the neurologist was boggled as to what was causing my seizures. So here I go to the health science in St. John's. Here they ran more tests and scans. At this point, I could barely walk. I was so weak from the seizures. I spent 2 weeks in the hospital there, and they finally figured something out. It wasn't my epilepsy. It was my body fighting something, and these seizures had nothing to do with my brain. Well, it did in a way, but it wasn't affecting it. They then sent a psychiatrist to evaluate me, and I was diagnosed with severe depression and anxiety disorder. My depression got worse after that. And my seizures kept up. Stress overloaded me, and that made things harder to control. I took pills this day in September, and I overdosed. And I spent 2 weeks in a mental health ward where they helped me get the right medications I needed and helped me adjust to my new life. I started seeing a therapist, which I still see and I will continue to see. My seizures became less and less, and I started to feel a little better until November rolled around, and I was still on the roller coaster. I wasn't myself at all. I was sleeping all of the time. My boyfriend didn't know what else to do with me. So here I go, back to the mental health ward. I spent 4 weeks there, and that time really helped. I got out of the hospital on the 21st of December, and I have been thriving since, with a little help from the nurses and the doctors and my family and friends and the people I have met along the way. They have helped me become a better person. I cannot remember when was the last time I felt this great, although I know I still have my days. The seizures are now no more, and my smile is back. It was a rough go, but they fixed me, and I am so happy to have each and every one of them in my life to keep me on track. Don't be afraid. Talk. End the stigma.